shot 60% or better in the second half. What has changed at halftime in this game compared to last game?
I think we kind of get a better feel as we go on, as the game goes on. Like there were a couple adjustments that we talked about, but not much, right? Like I talked more about our defense than I did our offense. Like these guys are the ones playing. So they have the freedom to kind of talk about what they see, how we can attack better. I didn't think our physicality was very good offensively in the first half. Right? I talked about E.J. Liddell and Joey Brunk wanted the ball in the post. They caught it with 1 or 2 feet in the paint. Right? The first play of the game, Pickett tries to post and he gets pushed all the way out to the 3-point line. Right? There's the difference right there. In the second half now, he's backing guys down. He's 2 feet in the paint. They have to decide if they want to help or not. But our physicality changed, and then our offense changes. And I talked about this guy yesterday, the guy I used to work for, Brad. He always says the toughest teams set the rules. And I felt like we were the tougher team in the second half.
We'll go to the back left corner.
Coach, Miles Dredd had a great all-around game both offensively and defensively, and he was bringing a lot of energy for the comeback. What did you see from him tonight?
I think just taking on the challenge of guarding E.J. Liddell. Pickett picked up a couple fouls. Seth picked up 3 fouls. They played a long time with that, but we kind of switched up our matchups in terms of what we wanted to do. And like he's a hard cover, man. He can score in the post. He can step out and drive. He can make threes. So you have to have some guys with some versatility who can guard him. And I thought Miles just did a pretty good job of being physical, trying to push his catches out further, trying to deny as much as possible, and then make it as tough as possible. He still scored a boatload of points. We fouled him way too much, got him to the free throw line, where he was getting and-ones or got him into the bonus at like the 10-minute mark. We need to do a better job of that. That was one of our keys going in, is not sitting on the free throw line as much. But I thought his will defensively really kind of spurred us on offensively. And one of the things that we knew is EJ helps a lot, right? He's a great shot blocker, but sometimes he veers too far off his man. And Miles got a big 3 because he was in the paint like that. And then the next time they helped, he made an extra pass to Seth for a 3. And those were huge plays for us to keep our offense going.
All right, we'll go there in the middle.
Micah, with about 1:30 left, John pulled down that rebound with, I think, 4 or 5 Ohio State defenders around him. How far did that go in sort of closing out the game?
He makes plays like that every single game for us. And that's who he is. And unbelievable will for a guy to play like how he plays, get ready to play all day today, and then come out and play, 31 minutes, almost 31 and a half minutes, as hard as he plays on both ends. And they're going at him in the post with Joey Brunk, and he's, fighting down there. Then he's sprinting to the other end of the court. Now he's sprinting back up and setting ball screens and rolling to the rim as hard as possible, going for the offensive rebound, and then sprinting back on defense. And then late in the game, they go small, and now he's got to guard E.J. Liddell. And just his communication, he denied him one time and tried to push him further out on the court. Like, you can't say enough things about that kid. There's a lot of things that you can say, how great of a player he is, how great of a person he is, but unbelievable will and fight. He's one of the toughest dudes I've ever been around.
We'll go in the front row, and then we'll take a few questions on Zoom, and we'll wrap up.
At majority of the Columbus Dispatch, this was your most efficient offensive game of the season against a Big Ten team, and you only had 24 points at halftime. When the second half is going the way that it went for you tonight, what does that feel like?
We've had games where we've really struggled, but these guys just kind of found different ways to get to their strengths. and we were just trying to play through our strengths. We felt like Pickett had an advantage posting guys. So we tried to go to that. We thought trying to attack and pick and rolls a little bit, trying to get them into switches, and now bringing another guy in, making them decide, do they want to switch it? Do they not want to switch it? Right. So we do a lot of different things. That's one thing that's probably, like, if you watch us play, there's a couple things we do each game, but you're probably looking at it like, man, they do one thing like one time, then they'll do something one time, and then they'll do something else one time. It's hard to prepare for everything when there's so much randomness to how we play. So our guys just found, like Sam was saying, the advantage that they liked, that they wanted, and we just tried to attack it in that way.
We'll go to Mark Brennan on Zoom. Mark, your line is open now.
Micah, along those lines, you guys had a 32-14 edge, points in the paint. To have your guards be able to do so much of that damage, how much of a luxury is that kind of in this day and age? The two guards had 2 3-pointers between them, but ended up with 34 points. Thanks.
Yeah, that's just a byproduct. Those guys, they do a great job of knowing what we want to do, how we want to attack, and then finding different ways based on how people play pick and roll defense. And, we see something and we can execute it and we can do it. They did a good job of getting into the paint, kind of keeping the guard on their back. And now John's rolling, and you make a really tough decision, whether he stays and stops them or whether he goes back to take John. And that gets him into the paint. Like, we talk about paint touches all the time. It's one of the stats that we talk about at halftime that we put on the board. Like, how many paint touches did we have in the possession? How many did the other team have? And for the most part, if you continue to get in the paint, we were scoring at the rim, which now forced them to help a couple times late, which got us those open threes.
All right, we'll take one last question from David Eckert on Zoom. Go ahead, David.
Hey, Micah. You talked in your opening statement about the close losses this season being, learning experiences. How have you made sure that your guys have interpreted them that way rather than reasons to be discouraged? Because that seems like it's something that can kind of go either way.
Yeah, it can. We got an older group of guys that have kind of been through the wars a little bit. Now, they haven't done it together. They haven't all done it here. But they've brought each of their own separate experiences, and that's what we kind of lean on as much as possible. And we go back and we watch film, and we try and learn the best way we can. But you ask these guys to just do their best, right? We can't do more than our best, and we've given our best on a lot of occasions, right? So you can be okay with the results of what happens. I've talked about this before, right? We didn't give our best against Nebraska at home, so that loss really hurts. So we didn't give our best, but we've given our best more times than not. And when you lose, you know how much you gave, and that that's kind of what being good's about. You got to be vulnerable a little bit to be good. Like, it takes these guys, there's a lot of vulnerability for these guys to go out there every single night and just put themselves out there in front of people, trying as hard as possible, knowing that you can still lose. Right? It's easy to just quit and be like, I don't want to put myself all the way out there and do everything I can, because now I have a built-in excuse, right? We get beat. Yeah, I know, but I wasn't really trying. These guys are putting themselves out there and trying as hard as possible and still getting beat. And that's some vulnerability to it, but that makes you good at the end of the day. That makes you better at the end of the day. And, they're open to criticism. They're open to change. And we're just learning day by day. And I'm just so proud of them for fighting through every single time we get down, and it's just building character. It's basketball is teaching life lessons, and these guys are learning life lessons right now because life's not always fair. There's going to be obstacles that happen, and we're playing a kid's game, but we're learning life lessons through it.
All right, great. Thank you very much. We'll
Thank
see
you,
you
guys.
tomorrow. Thank you to the media for attending today.